Consultants. He has an experience of 13 years as with companies like Kotak Mahindra, IDFC, Sundaram Finance. He's undertaken countless hours of product training sessions for various banks, both private and public, Citibank, Standard Chartered, Development Bank of Singapore, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and many more. Currently, he's also engaged in financial and investment consulting, financial training for Garhwal's Rifles at Lansdowne, Uttarakhand Army Base. He primarily concerns himself with educational consulting, and he has international exposure in finance, including project work at London School of Economics. After completing his on BCom honors and financial consultants from AMFI, he is now promoting at himself as a consultant at Evercore Consultant. And I would like to invite Mr. Ashutosh Sharma to say a few words to our students. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you. I would like to thank Principal Ma'am and Shyam Prasad Mukherjee College for giving me this opportunity to interact with the bright young minds aspiring for great careers and share our experiences and insights into the changing global economic landscape and talk about employability skills that we need to navigate this new territory. uh, as we all know that this pandemic has actually pressed a reset button on the way the world works. It has had a devastating impact on the world economies and has put a big question mark before the careers of countless individuals. However, the world has been through a lot before and has dealt with many challenges, each time changing the way we do things going forward. The corporates have already started to use the massive complexities brought forth by this pandemic and use them to bring meaningful change. In order to traverse this overwhelming and challenging time, it is important to understand how the jobs are going to get re architectured and reconfigured in order to stay relevant in the new world. Organizations are reeling under the immense pressure to survive in the current times. And like always, those who are more flexible and nimble will be the ones who survive and later on thrive. This pandemic has made it very clear that technology is the way forward. The organizations who are putting off automating or upgrading their systems would be in a much more difficult situation today compared to the ones who were early adopters of these of such technologies. The role of human resources also becomes very important in the current scenario. Hiring and training the right people with the right skills and temperament would be very crucial. In the current situation where the physical interface between the employers and employees has become almost negligible, the HR function in the organizations is undergoing a metamorphosis to employ new measures and ways to screen candidates who are not just technically sound and qualified, but are also able to work under the mental duress of a new work environment, which is their own homes, and still bring the same level of efficiency and effectiveness as they would in an office setting. In the new order of things to come, the work environment will no longer be the same. It has already changed, in fact. Work from home, as they say, has become a new normal. The organizations will be looking for people who are more accepting of changes and resilient to the pressures of this new environment. Upskilling and upgrading, they have always been very important and core qualities to do well in any career, but now they will become even more important with the nature of jobs changing dramatically. The aspirants should be ready to accept more and more short term assignments going forward, which will make gaining multiple specialities in qualification very handy. And with the online teaching and online courses, there are huge number of websites which are giving online courses, many certifications, and even online degrees. All of these things will also support this transition of not just sticking to one single qualification, but rather have many small certifications which will add weight to your CV. But to hold it all together, there is another set of skills which are equally important and are required to really make it in today's challenging environment. And this is what we are covering in our course on employability and soft skills. Our objective through this program is to equip you with a set of skills that you can use not just to get a job in a highly dynamic corporate environment, but will also help you survive and thrive in this environment. For that, we must align ourselves with what the employers are actually looking for. And they are looking for people who possess the skills that go beyond the educational qualification. More and more employers are ready to spend money and time on developing some specific job related skills which will make you more effective and more efficient at your job. However, they usually want to see you possess some soft skills because they are much harder to teach. Keeping this in mind, what we have done is that we have divided our course into four parts, four modules. The first module will cover the qualitative skills, wherein we will begin with the future of work trends post COVID 19. The importance of communication. Communication has always been a very important, any career. But now that the physical interface has gone down, the role of qualification becomes ever more important. So here we will also cover how to communicate effectively, how to be an effective communicator. Next, what we will cover would be the emotional quotient and corporate space. How to deal with conflict in workspace and be an effective negotiator. How to work in a team and how to manage team dynamics in any organization, decision making and problem solving skills. The second module will be more quantitative and it will include things like how to be a good learner, the importance of self development, delivering, how to deliver great presentations, how to improve and develop your writing skills, how to write a resume, a good resume, how to manage yourself in a group discussion. The third module will cover leadership and entrepreneurship. Both of these sessions will follow many motivating case studies, which will give you an insight into the behaviors and decision making processes of people who have done exceptionally well in their own respective fields. And the fourth module will cover in detail the public speaking and how to be an effective speaker. Apart from this, we will also cover how to manage your digital footprint. See, this cannot be emphasized enough. We need to be very careful with the way we manage our social media accounts, be it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything. Once you put something out on the internet, it is there forever. And any employer very conveniently can Google your name and find out about whether you are the right fit for their organization. We will cover in detail on how to manage your profile so that you can differentiate much better as to what should not be very public. Apart from just the employment or professional aspect, there is a personal aspect too. Many young adults post things which can be misconstrued and misused, leading to a bad experience. We will touch upon things you can do to manage your social media as a tool to market yourself well. Though there is no fixed formula for success, there are always a few things which will lead you to a fulfilling career path. And that is the last thought that I would like to leave you all with. Be inquisitive and curious. People who are curious and ask questions are always open to learn new things, which is a critical trait if you need to succeed. Emotions are very important. Be sensitive to people around you. Not only does it make you more human, but it also helps you be somebody who is respected, easy to work with, and approachable. You may be the most learned person in your field. You may understand your subject with utmost clarity, but if you cannot work well in a team, it is going to be a tough road ahead. It is important to listen. That is the key to becoming a good communicator. It will help you convince your bosses, your teammates to understand the merit in your ideas. Keep cool under pressure and be ready to adopt changes. To conclude, with a change in workspace from offices to home, work culture will also change. So keep yourself up to date, keep adding value to your CV, keep looking out for short term internships which you can do from home. It will give you an idea of what to expect and will always be helpful when you apply for jobs going forward, as it will provide you with relevant references. Most importantly, be optimistic
ठीक है
and
मैं
remember
स्क्रीनशॉट में
that this too shall pass. Thank you.
अच्छा ठीक है मैं ले अच्छा अच्छा और मैं इसका अटेंडेंस कैसा
Your mic is not on.
नहीं अटेंडेंस में मतलब ये कॉलेज की आईडी से
Kanika?
Please switch on your mic.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I just realized that. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh Sharma, for your words of enlightenment and for telling us what this course is going to be about from the ground up, and how empathy and emotional, question is very, very important to move forward in this corporate times, and also to enable ourselves to be better human beings in general. Today we have been really, honored to have within us, these young minds who Dr. Sada Sharma has already introduced in brief. So I will not take a lot of time, and would jump on to meet these really determined young individuals who created such a brilliant future for themselves. And if we can learn some words of wisdom from them, if our students and all of us can learn something from them, it will really be a good thing today morning. So yeah, so to begin with, I would like to request Mr. Dipankar. He's from Jharkhand and he's completed his engineering from Delhi College of Engineering. He did his IPS in 2018 and he cleared his IAS with a rank of 42 in 2019. So congratulations on that, and I would love to hear what you have to say to our students, and thank you so much. We are really grateful that you could take out your time from your busy schedule and come join us for the orientation program. Mr. Dipankar, thank you.
Thank you very much for such an introduction. Well, you have already introduced me, so I'll straight on get to the point. What I thought about it, I'll speak something about soft skills when it comes to professionalism and career growth. And it's one of the most neglected areas of in today's job seekers or people who are seeking employment. I want to talk about one very important thing. Yes, and that's that if we think about very successful people, let's say we think about someone who according to our standards and according to Indian conventions is very successful, someone like Satya Nadella or someone like Sundar Pichai. A lot of people tend to think that those people must have been super intelligent or super hardworking, so as to achieve what they have achieved so far in life. But I don't think that Satya Nadella or Sundar Pichai, or for that matter anyone, let's say Warren Buffett, is the most intelligent or the most informed person in his organization. There might be better programmers than them, there might be better economists than them, but somehow they have managed to climb the stairs of success and they have reached where they are right now. So, what according to me distinguishes these people from the rest of the lot, even though that the rest of the lot might be more technically capable or technically efficient, these people have certain things in them which has actually helped them to reach where they are right now. And we know about that thing. That thing, normally we call it emotional intelligence. I won't be going into the details of emotional intelligence, but I would want to talk about two very simple aspects of emotional intelligence. So I will be answering two questions. The first question is, what is the biggest factor in determining a person's professional success? And once you know what that factor is, how should you be choosing your professional field? Which field you should be targeting, whether it be journalism or law or Bollywood or civil services or medicine, whatever you choose to do. So I have more or less answered my first question. Emotional intelligence is actually a very important factor. A lot of people think that it is the IQ, a person's intelligence, which gives him, which is responsible for his success. There have been various researches, and I would want to quote one which says that almost 60% of your success, and that can go up to almost 90%, can be attributed to your emotional intelligence. This is, if you read very technically about emotional intelligence when it comes to psychology and all, you would realize that this term, although it was coined in late 60s and 70s, it has gained traction from early 90s and so on. So there has been a lot of research, and Daniel Goleman is one of the foremost researchers in this field. He's a psychiatrist from Harvard University. And he actually lays down a model of emotional intelligence, and in which he lists down almost 5 factors. I'll briefly list them. I won't go into the details of those factors because I'll talk about something else. So those factors are self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and relationship skills. I will talk about 2 very important factors, that is self-regulation and relationship skills. But before that, see, like I said, emotional intelligence is one of the biggest deciding factors when it comes to a person's professional success. Almost up to 90% of a person's success can be attributed to his emotional skill capability. But there is a good news and a bad news for those who are listening to me speaking about emotional intelligence. The bad news is that if you think you are super smart or super intelligent, that intelligence is not going to help you. That IQ, that mental aptitude is not going to help you to achieve very big success in life. The good news is that your IQ, whatever you have, commonly 2/3 of the people have an IQ statistically above 120, is stagnant now. Most of you are 18 years and above, and IQ is very strongly related to your genetic markers, to your biological upbringing. So you are not, if you think you can improve in your intelligence front, then sorry, it grows up to a certain age, like your height, up to maybe when you are 18 years old or 19 years old, and after that it stops developing. Emotional intelligence, on the other hand, now this is the good news. The bad news was that you cannot do anything on your IQ front. That's fine. Whatever you have to make do with it. The good news is that emotional intelligence is a learned capability. There's not much genetic, there are not many genetic factors involved when it comes to emotional intelligence. It is how you socialize yourself, how you interact with people, and how you develop your emotional intelligence. So it can grow and improve throughout your life. Even when you are 50 years old or 60 years old, you can work on your emotional intelligence and you can make it better. And the even better part is that it is responsible for most of your success. Once you attain a certain level of IQ, let's say you cracked a very tough engineering entrance exam, or you got into a very good college, let's say you got into Harvard University, everyone there would have similar intelligence. Everyone would be ranging between 120 and 130, or 120 and 135. So that's not much of a difference. So the real differentiator there is not your IQ, but your emotional intelligence. Now I said I would be talking about 2 aspects of emotional intelligence. The first one is self-regulation, and the second one is your impulse control. Let's not get into definitions or something like that. Self-regulation simply means how you regulate your emotions, specifically your destructive emotions, how you regulate them. It is very important. Let me go to an example. People who are very high in self-regulation capabilities, they are very high in impulse control capabilities. You'll find them having a better health regime. You will find them having better relationships, because impulse controls sorts of and the moment. It drives your current desires or current emotions. So if you can, there's this very important thing that if you can control your instant gratification, your instant desire to do something, then that will help you in the long run. This is very popular experiment also by Stanford University. It's known as the marshmallow experiment. I would urge everyone to look it up. So every time you're studying or you are doing something, let's say you are planning your day, or you are maybe painting or trying to do something, sing a song, working on your new project or something like that, you are always being distracted. The human attention span is hardly about 10 seconds. And that's there for a reason, because the early man developed from jungle and started living in society, so he had to have a very short attention span, otherwise he could be killed by predators. So he had to be constantly looking out for different things. But now we are in a stage where we need a bigger attention span, which is why your impulse control is very, very important. If you don't have an impulse control, you won't have a very good relationship with anyone because you will be blurting out everything which comes in your mind, the first response that comes in your mind. You won't have a very good health regime because you will be giving into instant gratification and trying to devour everything that's put in front of you in the form of food. And you won't be able to succeed either in your studies or professionally. Because every time you sit to study, you'll have something or the other distracting you, whether it's a movie or it's some new show on Netflix or it's your friends calling you out for parties or something like that. So you need to have that impulse control, that self-regulation, that discipline that you need to control your mind and focus it on something which is important and relevant and kept in front of you right now. So that was the first important thing I wanted you to develop. This self-regulation and impulse control. Because otherwise you will be seeking instant gratifications. You will be procrastinating a lot. That I have to do such and such thing, but I can put it back by 1 week or 1 month, and at the last moment you will be panicking. So that's one. Impulse control and self-regulation. Now, after you know what you have to do, I would want to focus on another important factor is that how do you decide the field, how do you decide your field, which field you should be working on for the rest of your life. As undergraduates, a lot of you, I presume, are undergraduates or simply beginning your graduates, you will have plenty of ideas in your mind. Some of you might be thinking about civil services. Some of you, when I started my graduation, might be about to move abroad and do my master's and work in the technological field. But that somehow didn't happen. Some of you might be looking for different fields, journalism, law, medicine, so on and so forth. There is this thing called flow. It's sort of a psychological concept. It's coined by a very prominent psychologist called Mihaly. He's from Chicago University, and he talks about flow. Flow is basically a state of mind. It's a certain state of mind. And if you are working in that situation, in that state of mind, in flow, then your productivity increases almost by a factor of 40% or sometimes even more. So, like I said earlier, our attention spans are very, very short. We are distracted every 4 seconds, every 8 seconds by something or the other. Maybe the whizzing sound of a fan or a bird going outside, something or the other keeps distracting us. And flow is a state of mind in which you are able to concentrate for a longer duration on one certain thing, on one certain aspect or a subject. It acts like a spotlight. It keeps you focused on one thing. What happens when you're working in flow is that your sense of time gets distorted. So if you're let's say you're watching a movie and it's one of your favorite movies, and the movie is 3.5 hours long, you won't feel the time. You would feel as if you have been sitting for half an hour, 45 minutes, because your sense of time gets distorted. The same happens in impulse control also. I remember once I was traveling in Delhi, and there was a person who was in front of the long queue of traffic at a red light. And there was the red light counter was showing 10 seconds, 9 seconds, and he got so impulsive that there was hardly 4 or 5 seconds left, and he sped off. 100 meters ahead, he was stopped by a traffic policeman, and he was fine. Now, that's also a distortion of time. You have to wait for 5 seconds or 6 seconds, but your impulsive tendencies stop the time, and you feel as if you're waiting there for half an hour, 45 minutes. The flow concept is opposite to that. In this, what happens in flow, here also the sense of time gets distorted, but if you're working in impulse control, if you're standing there for 2 minutes, it would seem like 2 hours. But in flow, if you're standing for 2 hours, it would seem like 2 minutes. So when it comes to distortion of time, flow is actually the opposite of impulse control. And the other important thing about flow is that you sort of become disoriented. I won't call it absent-minded, disoriented from, or you're not aware of what is actually happening in your surroundings. Someone might be whistling, or someone might be making some noise, a baby might be crying, or there might be music playing, but you actually don't pay attention to such things. So you are constantly working in flow. These two are the sort of the defining factors of flow. Your sense of time gets distorted, and you are not aware of what is happening in your surroundings. if you achieve this level, if this state of flow, this state of mind, known as flow, then your DBT, as the scientists say, will automatically increase by almost 40%, 50%, whatever work you're doing. Now, once you know about impulse control, once you know about flow, you have to decide which field you should be working in, which field you should be making your professional career. And there are three things I would want to mention. You should choose a field in which you are naturally, automatically able to work in flow, in which your impulse control is very strong and your flow is very high. How do you decide which field is that? Number one, you should have a certain level of expertise in that field. So you don't have to be a complete expert, or you don't have to be a professional, but there has to be a certain level of competence. And number two, that field should be slightly demanding. If you are doing something which is very easy, then you will get bored or distracted very easily. If you are doing something which is very, very difficult, which is beyond your capabilities, then you would be perhaps dissuaded, you would be demoralized, you wouldn't want to do that. But if you are doing something which is moderately challenging, let's say if you're solving a mathematics question, and if that question is moderately challenging, then you sort of naturally develop an interest towards that, and you spend your time with that. And you need to, like I said, you need to have some expertise, a beginner level of expertise in that field. So let's say if you choose music as a profession, if you feel that playing an instrument is extremely difficult, then maybe that's not the right field for you. If you feel that it's very easy and you can do it, you can do it in like, you can pick up any instrument and you can play it very well after a practice of 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then also that is not a very good field for you to choose, because you will get easily bored in that field. So what you have to do is you have to introspect and figure out a field for your professional career, which, like I said, you need to have some level of expertise, and you need to have some level of, it has to be moderately difficult. So, in very brief, these were the two things I wanted to talk about. The first important thing being that if you think that your IQ or your intelligence is going to get you very far when it comes to professional success, or when it comes to a very good career, then that is not going to happen in the current situation, in the current scenario. What matters more than your IQ is your emotional intelligence, your emotional quotient. I would urge everyone to read in more detail about this emotional intelligence thing. There's a very popular book by Daniel Goleman. It's known as Working with Emotional Intelligence. It's actually written for managers from for the corporate world, but it doesn't matter. Anyone from any field can pick up that book, and go through it. And the second important thing was that once you know your emotional intelligence plays a very important and a vital role in your career growth, in your professional growth. The second important is that which field do you choose? Choose a field in which you can work with some flow, which gives you inherent satisfaction. So when you're working in flow, it's intrinsically satisfying. It's intrinsically rewarded. You're not rewarded by something external. If you're working, let's say, as an accountant, and you don't like the work, then you are working there because you like extrinsic motivators. You like extrinsic rewards. Maybe you're working there for money, or you're working there for some status or something or the other. You need to put food on your table, that's why you're working there. It's not intrinsically rewarding. But when you're working in flow, it's intrinsically rewarding. So that's what I have to say in a nutshell for everyone. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dipankar Chaudhary, for such an engaging conversation on emotional intelligence. I have definitely learned more about the contemporary theory that you mentioned, and I'm definitely going to look up and read and kind of learn more about this. And I'm sure that all the students who were listening to you, and especially even the faculty members who were listening to you, were learning to how to practice this. And especially during this time, I feel that this is really, really important and the need of an hour to understand the emotional intelligence aspect of things. Now, without wasting any more time, I would love to invite another young, brilliant mind, and also an inspiration to a lot of girls who are, studying in our college and even outside, who are joining with us today, to excel and enable the skills. So she's Miss Swati Sharma, and she's joining us from Delhi. She's done her economic honors from Delhi University Jesus Mary College. and she's also done her master's in economics from Jawaharlal Nehru University. She's done her Indian Audit and Account Service exam in 2018, and she cleared IFS UPSC in 2019 with the rank of 17. Thank you so much for joining in, Ms. Swati, and I would like to invite you over to say a few words of enlightenment and kind of continue the discussion forward. Ms. Sharma?
Hi everybody. So I'll pick off from where Dipankar left off. So like you said, me and Priyank spent around 10 months in the Audit Academy. And the first thing we learn about auditing is that you need to understand the entity. So similarly, when you're looking for employment or what you want to do in life, the first thing you need to understand is the scenario in the world around you, and then the second most important thing is planning. You need to plan after that how you need to move forward, what are the gaps, and then fill those. So and move forward with that. So one thing I did, and I think everybody else who's been successful, like Priyanka and Dipankar did, was they planned ahead as to what needed to be done, what they needed to do, what their gaps were, and how they needed to fill those gaps. So I think that's very important. So once you understand the scenario around in your world and you look at your skill set and the skill set that's required by these organizations or wherever you want to go, so you try to fill in those gaps. So you start off by understanding, then planning, and then working towards those skill gaps. That's very important. For example, like even with our UPSC preparations, it is not just learning the information that's available. We can read a lot of books, but everybody reads the same books. Why is it that some people get into the list and some don't? Right. So the main factor in that is how they present that information. So when you're in your main, you're writing your mains. So everybody's almost writing the same thing. The one difference is how you understand the question. So that's very important. So whenever you go for an interview, for example, what the examiner wants from you, you need to be able to recognize that. The second thing is how you present that information to the examiner, because that also determines if you will get in or not. And thirdly, for example, like in the interview stage, it is not just your knowledge that they're checking, they're seeing if as a person you would be able to do the task they'll assign you. So I think a lot of us went for mock interviews as well. And so those things you need to work on. It's not like everybody is just ready right off the bat that they would be good enough for it. You need to work on all of these things. So everything you do needs to be focused towards that one goal. And yes, these are difficult processes no matter what field you choose, because there's so much competition now and you need to be on the top. So it becomes really difficult. So you need to be really focused and really aware, like Dipankar said, you need to be really aware of the changes that are happening around you and adapt to them as quickly as you can. So, like currently, it is not just knowledge that will get you through. There are a lot of skills. There's emotional intelligence as well, adapting to technology. Even in audit, our seniors kept telling us to, even that you're already in service, you should continue doing some course or the other. So you could either go for computer courses in auditing, or you could go for financial planning and financial auditing courses. So everywhere you go, you need to keep improving as well, because the scenario around you is changing so quickly. So it's not just that you get someplace and that's it. You need to keep constantly evolving yourself as well. So I think there are two major things you need to do. One, understand what's happening around you, and second, plan and work according to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sharma, for giving us such a good overview of how you prepped and how what are the learning skills that you would like to give to our students. And I'm sure that they have taken cues and notes from this discussion. Thank you so much. I would now like to move to Mr. Priyank Kishore, and he's also from Jharkhand, and he's completed his BCom from Ramjas College, Delhi University, and also his Masters in Commerce from Delhi University. He was also with Miss Swati Sharma in Indian Audit and Account Service in 2018, and he cleared his IAS around the same time in 2019 with a rank of 61. So thank you so much, Mr. Priyank, for joining us today, and I would love you to also continue the discussion. And it seems very engaging, and I'm also learning a lot of skill sets from you all today. So moving on, Mr. Priyank.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. Something I share in common with both the panelists here. Like Dipankar, I'm from Jharkhand, and Swati and I, in fact, are batchmates. We were in the Indian Audit and Account Service 19 batch. So, like Dipankar has spoken about the importance of emotional intelligence and how emotional intelligence complements your intelligence quotient. Similarly, Swati spoke about the importance of planning, and this planning, how planning can improve your everyday life. What I want to talk to you about is execution. Now, see, all of us know that, like Swati said, most of us do things. The planning, once the planning is done, how you execute your plan, that differs from one individual to another. So all of us know that when we were preparing for civil services exam, most of us has a plan that we'll finish this part of the syllabus in this much time. But that doesn't happen with everyone. Different people take different time and execute their plans differently. So I'll talk to you about some productivity tools which I adopted in during my preparation days, and these are quite simple tools. But I think when you use these in a complementary manner, then the effect that you get is profound. So, if used on an everyday basis, I'm sure these productivity tools can add a lot of value to your life. So, we all know that a lot of stress is building up these days. The mental health has gained importance again. So, these tools will help you to improve your productivity, improve your efficiency, and at the same time, it will reduce the buildup of stress around you. So, the first thing that I want to talk to you about is the power of habit. So, habit is a very underrated concept, but if you build some positive habits around you, then they can give you a lot of impetus to your work. So, by habit I mean you should have a morning habit and an evening habit and a habit that you do before you go to bed. So, like Swati, I've known her for about a year and a half now, and she's told me that she can't get sleep without reading 10 pages or 15 pages. So that's a night habit. So now, if you look at it from a perspective, if you're just reading 10 or 15 pages every day, you're finishing one or two books in a week. So this is the power of habit. It may seem very trivial at first, but if done on an everyday basis, then the compounding effect is huge. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is scheduling. Swati said that planning is very important, and I also subscribe to this view. So when I was preparing for the exam, I had a schedule which I used to follow to the minute. Like I had a daily schedule and a weekly schedule as well as a monthly schedule. So this helps you to keep a track of your activities, avoid wasting too much of your time, and as well as see where you have reached, how much of your targets you have achieved. So, schedule your day at the start of the day or the night before and follow it to the maximum extent possible. The next thing, the third thing I want to talk to you about is golden hour. Now, because of the several gadgets around us, because of the mobile phone and apps like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter installed on our mobile phones, what most of us do is as soon as we wake up, we spend a substantial amount of our most productive hours in checking the notifications. Now, what I did in both my attempts when I was studying is that the first 1 hour after I woke up, I used to read the newspaper because reading the newspaper at times seemed a little redundant and a little boring to me. But I didn't waste much time after getting up, and I ensured that I finished the day's newspaper in 1 hour, and then I started my day's activities. Now, this reduces procrastination also, because when you wake up, you spend a considerable amount of your time thinking what will your next step be. So have a fixed schedule, and as soon as you wake up, as soon as you freshened up, immediately start with your day's activities so that you don't spend a lot of time procrastinating. Now, the fourth thing again, now this may seem very trivial, but again, it is very important. You have to take regular breaks. Like Dipankar said, that the human mind has a limited span, be it of memory, be it listening, or anything. So, take regular breaks, because if you're sitting for slogging for very long hours at a stretch, if you're sitting for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours at one stretch, then your productivity, overall productivity goes down. And because of this, the net result that you gain is not too much. So, take regular breaks. After about every 45 minutes to 1 hour, you should take a break and then get back to your work. Now, the fifth thing I want to talk about is the 2 minute rule. And this, a lot of psychoanalysts have also stressed upon the importance of this rule. Now, what the 2 minute rule is that if you have a task in front of yourself which you can finish in 2 minutes, just finish it. Don't procrastinate about it. If I have to make an example, suppose you have to make a very important phone call. Don't procrastinate. Finish that phone call so that you can get on with the other things. Now, again, uh, though this is not very relevant given the pandemic and since everyone is working from home, but see, if we are living in metro cities, the commute time is quite high from going to your home to your office, or to your college, or to your workspaces. So take advantage of your commute. I stayed about 1 hour away from North Campus in my 5 years of Delhi. And what I did was that I made very good use of my commute time. So the 2 hours that I spent traveling every day, I put them to very productive use. So, given that we are all staying quite far from our place of education or work, uh, I think we should make maximum advantage of our commute. And finally, there's one thing which I made extensive use of whenever I felt underproductive or I felt like not studying. I made use of the POMO technique. Now, what the POMO technique, this has become very popular in the Western world, is that you study or you work in sets. So every 20 minutes you work, or 25 minutes you work with a lot of intensity, a lot of energy, and then you take a break of 5 minutes. Now, because the human mind has a limited concentration span, if you adopt the POMO technique, you can work in short sprints, and this will give you a lot of energy and maximize your productivity. So, these are some small things I wanted to talk about today. And if used in combination, I think they are sure to increase your productivity, maximize your productivity. And with these words, I'd like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to speak here, and wish everyone all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Priyank. And I think all three of you kind of gave us such a wholesome introduction to how the students should move forward from starting from, like contemporary research on emotional intelligence, and then moving to Ms. Sharma, who kind of talked about her own life examples, and then to Priyank, who kind of put it all together, both philosophically and also brought it, real time techniques that we can use to maximize our productive potential. And I'm sure that all of us learned, especially the students who are looking forward on trying to create a similarly bright future as you all have done for yourselves. So thank you again for taking out time from a busy schedule, all three of you, and kind of being part of this. Now, I'd like to move forward and bring in conversation our course instructor, who is CA Pankaj Goyal. To just give you a slight brief on him, he is the director of his own company that he started on, titled BA Business Consulting Private Limited. He's currently a financial management specialist for ADB funded assignments for Tamil Nadu, and team leader for the state of Jharkhand for revenue augmentation. He is a chartered accountant with Master's Commerce degree and MPhil in finance, with over 20 years of experience in the financial management, urban infrastructure financing, providing technical assistance to private and government organizations both. He also trains, and he has an assistantship of about 3 years in experience in income tax, statutory, and tax audits. His previous years of experience had him work with an esteemed consulting firm, Ernst & Young, and he also taught in Delhi University as an assistant professor. He also has been working with multilateral agencies like World Bank, Asian Development Bank, Department of International Development, and he's also had in his clientele Ministry of Urban Development and Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, and was part of designing the smart city guidelines. I'd like to thank CA Pankaj Goyal for joining with us today, and I would like you to speak a few words and continue the discussion forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kanika. And honestly, after hearing from all the young minds and the igniting minds, because all are belong to the UPSC fraternity, IAS fraternity, and my government consulting area lies interaction with all the IAS officers. So I'll be in future maybe somewhere down the line meeting these guys and doing some work with them, because Dipankar and Priyank are from Jharkhand and I've been working in Jharkhand for the last 4 years, and we are helping the state government there in increasing their revenue and preparation of policies. So thank you, Sadhna ma'am, for giving us the opportunity being a part of the Everco consultant. I'll just brief what everyone has said and the importance of communication. I'll not take much more time, and I believe communication is not only speaking in one language. I believe in both the languages, because generally what we believe. I'll take a very simple example for all the students. We always open the tap and we use the tap. We utilize the importance of water, but we forget from where the water comes. Water comes from a tank, water tank. So there is a connection between the water tank and the tap, a small pipe. Our mind, I always call it as a tank, and this is I call a tap. What is the importance? Importance is never of the tank. You may have enough abundant water in the tank, but if your tap is dry and tap doesn't work, then the purpose is futile. Exactly same thing applies in the soft skills. You may have a lot of knowledge, lot of technical background, everything you have it, सब कुछ आपके पास है, लेकिन ये हम सबको पता है आजकल, especially in this COVID time, if you are looking for a job, primarily the first round of interview will be the telephonic round, and telephonic round, apart from your this has to go. That is the reason the importance comes of communication skill. And the communication does not mean only the fluency. Communication does not only mean the speaking. Soft skill also means a good listening. And how to use the right word at the right place. That is very, very important. If you have ever seen the match stick box, the stick is very long, but the stick has no importance unless the tip is there. If tip is wet, it is useless. You may have very good technical knowledge, very good qualification, but if you do not have that tip, the soft skill tip, your matchstick will not burn. That the fire which you needed from inside is very, very important. And as a part of Everco Consultant, as Mr. Ashutosh Sharma has briefed you, we will be covering all the facets of the soft skills, which Mr. Dipankar was mentioning about the emotional intelligence. Ms. Swati was mentioning to write the things differently. As there was a famous quote I was reading somewhere. Successful people never do different things. They always do things differently. That is the reason Mr. Dipankar, Ms. Swati, Mr. Priyank, they have done the same thing but in a different way. That is the reason these are our future prospects. And as Priyank was mentioning about the execution, again I will mention one quote here. We always say plan your work. He was mentioning about the planning to the minute. Plan your work. But your work, plan your work, but your plan should also work. You can plan everything, but ultimately the execution part is very, very important of that. We need everything. All components are important. Your emotional intelligence, you are doing the things differently, because everyone is CA, everyone is MBA, but still the pay scale, the designation is different. So logically, they must be doing something differently. And you need to manage your social life. As Priyank was mentioning about the social networking sites. So we all agree in the morning when we wake up, we always look at the phone first of all. But how you balance your social life along with your other things is very, very important. So in our Evercore Consulting, this employability and the soft skills, we will try to build a positive correlation between the soft skill and the employability. So what are the things which you need in the practical life? We will not talk about the theory part because all the instructors are from the corporate background. So how in the corporate background, when you go for the job, how the interviews are held, how the GD is held, how the communication part is done, how the leadership styles are important, how you take a lead, where you have to take a pause, everything we will be taking it in this. Along with this we'll also talk about the attire. The dressing style is also important. All these skills we'll be covering in our 4 modules. So all the best to everyone, and we hope our small course of short skills may take you towards your ultimate journey of employability, not towards job, but towards your career. Thank you.
So much, Mr. Goyal, and I'm really, grateful that all of us could, come together this morning and have such a meaningful discussion, and not just kind of orient these students, but I think all of us learned along the way from, these enlightened minds. And I would, request the participants if they have any queries or questions related to whatever was spoken today. We would love to take them on, or the course related queries that I just posted on the chat box. We will email you all the details regarding the course and timing and schedule and modules over. But since we have the opportunity to meet these, brilliant people amidst us, I would, if you have any questions, you can just put them on the chat box and I'll be your spokesman and read them out in case you have them. But until they ask, I would love to, ask a couple of things that I found. Ms. Sharma mentioned that how we need to be focused. I would love to know that if you can share, just like Mr. Kishore did, like he shared a few techniques. Maybe you can also, and I would love to know that what inspired you to, sign up for UPSC, and what was that like? Like, why did you choose to go in this direction career-wise? If you could just let us know about that.
I think I have the same thing that Priyank has, that I can't study for more than 2 hours or 1.5 hours in one stretch. So that's one thing I did as well. After an hour or hour and a half, I would take a break. So I think that does help with your productivity and your focus. And I know a lot of people say that when you're preparing for UPSC, you need to shut out your friends, you need to shut out other things, you just need to lock yourself up in a room and just study and all that. I don't think that works that well. Obviously, everybody is different, so different things work for different people. But for me specifically, I just couldn't do it. So even like Priyank said, I've had this habit of reading. So even during prep, if I could find even 15-20 minutes, I would read something or even like talk to a friend or something. So I think you need to keep things a little upbeat that way by doing something or the other in the middle of all of that to refresh your mind. So that helps with the focus, and that's what I did. Planning also helps to focus because I also follow the same thing that Priyank mentioned, preparing a monthly, weekly, and daily plan, because that lets you know what your target is, and it makes it more quantitative. And I think we're better at processing quantitative things, so that helps focus more. As far as why I went for civil services is concerned, I think I only had two options in mind right from the start. Either I would have been teaching in Delhi University like you, or this. So I thought that I should try this out first, and it's, it is a fascinating career choice, especially since I've chosen foreign services. So just that.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And we do have a couple of questions, and I would love if Mr. Priyank or Mr. Dipankar, whoever would like to take them on. I will be the first one. It's by a participant named Shreya Chaudhary, and she wants to ask that someone told her that whenever you're giving an interview, you should say yes in everything they ask for you. Is it true? And I think some interview skills technique, I think she would love to know your comment on that. So anybody who would want to take it, Mr. Priyank or Mr. Dipankar, or even Mr. Goyal.
Hi, Shreya. Priyank here. I'll just try to answer this question, and the others can also chip in, I think. I think all three of us have given at least two UPSC interviews, and UPSC interviews are known to be a very grueling experience, and you're drilled for about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on which board you get. So I think one thing that we were taught when we were preparing, and all the mock interviewers told us the same thing, that if you don't believe in something or if you're not ready to do something, say no. I think gone are the days when interviewers are looking for yes men. If you don't possess a certain set of skills, and if you still say yes for everything, I think that is going to go against you and not in your favor. So the best way to give an interview is to be absolutely honest, absolutely frank, and this is what all three of us followed, at least in the UPSC interviews, and I think it has worked for us quite well. The nitty-gritties of the interview, I'm sure, will be shared to you during your course. But speaking the truth is very important in the interview. Thank you.
I would just want to add a small point since I was speaking about emotional intelligence. Trust me, the people who are interviewing you have a very high score, are very capable when it comes to emotional intelligence. And one of the things which emotional intelligence, one of the attributes of a person with a very high emotional intelligence is that he can catch a lie. If you lie to him on his face, you will be caught. Trust me on that, and that will definitely go against you. Just a small point.
Thank you so much for answering that for us. Also, I think Mr. Dipankar, you would love to take up the next question that Shilpa has asked. She wants to know that she's not able to decide what path of career she should take, and she says, should I go with my abilities or with what I want, or what's going on in the present situation? So, I think she would, since you were talking about how to, engage with, make your skill set and kind of plan what kind of profession you want to take up. I think she, a little, comment on that would really help her.
So if you're thinking about choosing a career path based on current circumstances, that's not a very wise decision to make. You can monetize any skill set you have. You might be good in some, obscure skill set which other people wouldn't appreciate or wouldn't know about. But if you want to, you can monetize that. So go for something which you are initially good at, and which you want to get better at. For me, civil services, I personally saw myself. I felt that there are certain competencies I have, and I would be able to use my potential to its fullest scale if I join civil services. Some competencies related to leadership or planning or management, I felt that I naturally had them, and I can put those competencies at their best use if I join civil services. So don't make a short-term decision based on the market situation or what recruiters are demanding at this very present situation. Figure out your skill set, figure out what gets you in the flow, so that you can work peacefully and happily for a career of 30 years, spanning 30 years or 35 years, and then decide which field you want to get into. And there was another small addition I wanted to add. I was thinking about it when Priyank was talking about habit. There's a very similar kind of term. It's used in biological sciences. It's known as muscle memory. So you have to, when I was training as an IPS, they used to emphasize a lot on muscle memory. So if let's say you pick up a weapon, you pick up an AK-47 or a Glock pistol, you cannot start fumbling with it. You cannot be, okay, so where's the maximum catch? How do you cock this weapon? You have to build it inside your muscle. It just goes automatically. So start, like Priyanka was telling, you have to plan everything and you have to do it. Initially, it is going to be very difficult, but if you do it over a period of time, it sort of builds up into your muscle memory. and then it becomes very easy. And then it becomes very easy to do, and you start enjoying it also. So push through that initial inertia or initial resistance you have, and once you build up that muscle memory, things will get very easy. That's habit, in other words.
Thank you so much for answering that very, very clearly. There's another question by Rashika, and I think I'll only take a couple of questions more because of the time constraint that we have. So we'll take up Rashika's question. She wants to know how she constructs her timetable, and she says that how much portion I should cover, or I'm never been able to complete work on time completely, or she is unable to follow the timetable very sincerely. So she needs to know some tricks and techniques that she can utilize. I think Priyank, you mentioned something vis-a-vis creating a schedule. If you'd want to take it, or anyone else would want to chip in.
Yes. See here, Rashika, I think you should plan very realistically. So one mistake that all of us do is to make very unattainable or unrealistic targets. So make sure that your targets are realistic, and how you can make realistic targets is by like when we were preparing for the exam, I had a reading speed of about 15 pages of a particular book in an hour. So I used to plan my day accordingly. I would not set upon myself a task of reading too much, because I knew I wouldn't be able to attain it, and then that would also sort of demotivate me. So plan your day very realistically, and if something is still left over from that day, try to finish it off as soon as possible. Don't let a huge backlog pile up ever. And that is it. I think Swati will also want to talk about planning realistically.
So, like Priyank said, that you need to set realistic goals for yourself. One is that, definitely. The other thing is that it is more, 90% of the time you would not be able to achieve your target for the day. That is also a realistic assumption we can make. That it is hardly ever that you will be able to finish your 100% target in a day. So, what you can do is, because you know that there's going to be a gap in your targets, if you're planning for an entire week, keep one day just to cover the backlog. Because if you keep letting it pile on, then your entire plan for the rest of the month gets disrupted. So one thing is, realize that there's going to be a backlog, and then create extra space just to cover that backlog. And in the end, if you don't have any backlog, then you have time to relax also, if you manage to save that time. So again, realistic targets, and create space for covering that backlogs also. That's also a part of your planning, that okay, there would be backlogs, then we need to cover that.
Thank you so much, Swati, for helping us understand that. So I'd like to take up this final question, which is by Shagun, and kind of brings us full circle, and it is directed towards Dipankar, I guess, because he mentioned the concept of flow. So she's thanking you for discussing the concept of flow. She says in that it was also discussed that the career should be so engaging that it distorts the sense of time. She wants to know there are so many careers and how should we decide them. So if you can just help her understand that.
See, if you want to figure out more about flow, read more about flow, then this concept was actually coined by a psychiatrist from Chicago, University of Chicago. His name is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. It's a Czech name. It's sort of difficult to pronounce. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. You can Google it up. What careers are you choosing? See, I used to enjoy reading a lot. It's still one of my favorite things to do. Other than reading, there were two other things which I enjoyed doing. One of them was playing music, and the other was going for long drives, driving, basically. I somehow felt that I was not good enough to monetize these other two things, whether it is music or driving. You can monetize them, but not at the scale which I wanted them to monetize them. So, that monetizing, if you have to monetize whatever you love to do, you have to pay attention to that. And if you feel, you'll have to, specifically pinpoint these things I'm interested in, or these things get me into flow. And then as a next step, you have to see out of such and such so many options which you have shortlisted, which one you can monetize and be happy with for the next 30-35 years, because choosing a profession or a career is a long-term decision. And that's why I said initially that you cannot be basing it simply on market dynamics or what the employers or recruiters are demanding at this present situation. Everything in the long run can become a very good and can turn into a very good and a very successful career. So if you can, if you can pinpoint 2 or 3 things, then maybe I'll be able to help you. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you're more than capable yourself to figure out which one of them you want to take up.
All right. Thank you so much, Dipankar. I am sure that Shagun has understood, like cues, taken cues from it, and she's thanking you for that in the chat box. I would not have time to take up more questions, even though that a lot of them are asking and they are calling you their inspiration. So you have become these role models for these young minds, and I'm really, really grateful that you could all join us today. And maybe we'll get the opportunity to learn from you more somewhere in the future whenever we, host such programs. I would now move on to the vote of thanks, and beginning from Dr. Sadhana Sharma, who enabled this platform, and not only this platform but other engaging platforms for us to push our limits as teachers and keep inventing methodologies to kind of continue education. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Sadhana Sharma, for being that guiding light. I would now like to thank all the guests that we had today, starting from Mr. Dipankar Chaudhary, Mr. Priyank Kishore, and Ms. Swati Sharma for taking time out and being this, for such engaging and wholesome discussions on, which we all learned, and real-time techniques that we can all adapt to maximize our productivity and also create that sense of empathy and emotional intelligence that is so, the call of the hour. And I would also like to thank Mr. Ashutosh Sharma for giving us an entire overview and a brief, and also for Everco Consultants in general for collaborating with us to give this opportunity to a lot of students who are now going to be learning, in depth about employability and soft skills. And lastly, CA Pankaj Goyal, thank you so much for joining me today. Along with that, since our teaching faculty has always been, a part of this entire program, so I would like to thank Mr. Prabharana, Dr. Prabharana, Mr. Dr. Vijay Kumar, and lastly, our non-teaching faculty, both which is working as an admin to lead this program, Mr. Sarabjit Singh, and our accounts department, which is working day and night to sort out the fee structures, Google Forms, Gmail. So all of that has been done by Meenakshi Sharma and Rahul from the accounting. Thank you, everyone, all the participants who took out their time and kind of came forward this today morning and learned and helped. We all learned together, and it gave us such a brilliant opening and orientation. Start to the rest of the semester that they are going to take from from this day on. All the post-related queries, again, as I just told you, will be given to you over an email. So thank you again, everyone, for such a wonderful start to the morning, and I'm really, really glad that I could be part of this engaging discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.